And we're live.
I collect the guys. Starting.
Okay. Are we all here? Yes, we are. I'm extremely happy about this time in the afternoon when everybody is in the right mindset, not listening properly, and mind is going far above the ground. We just named this in the internet as Commander Koskis afternoon special. That's about what this is about. This is going to be deep stuff. Deep stuff. Thank you. And it would be like aliens. No. I'm going to do what Kiera did. Hello. There in the internet. They didn't see. But the thing is that when I first started, said that I could make this presentation, I had something in my mind that was very similar to something that Mentor mentioned that in the activity feed that he's going to make. Something about different kind of types, what kind of people there are. But then Mentor mentioned that, and I decided that I would change my subject so he can have that because he had thought about it. Well, we can have a discussion later after the topic has been done the presentation. But I decided to concentrate on something that is very important to me. So I chose a very challenging subject, phenomenon, something that has been bothering me since almost the time I've been playing. In this presentation, I'm going to give a very interesting claim about why does it happen. I'm going to explain how it's connected to diplomacy, as you are going to wonder it at some point. And my suggestions how to deal with it. Some people have seen my writings in the activity feed and understand that they are somehow traveling in some spheres of understanding, and let's see what happens. But the problem, the phenomenon that has bothered me is here, as you know, the so-called rage quit. The rage quit. Here I've described this concept as when a player suddenly resigns or drops all games due to game events and stops playing, at least for a while. This is something that many of us have seen happen, even in very high level. This is something that I will confess now I've done once earlier on. I made this concept like this because I have all kinds of explanation that it wasn't a rage quit. But afterwards, when I am thinking, of course I had all kinds of other life issues going on at the same time, but I didn't try much to bypass them. So it was pretty much because of game events. But I still argue that it's but more of a shock quit. I will give an example of a game, something that's been very as a person and very painful for me and very painful for many other people like person. testifying about the matter.
Meaner you get beaten, the better.
This is the Die Hard 16 game. And here is 500,000 military. This is the military graph. 500,000 million. And the thing was that this was a game with very many, very high quality players. It was very even game. It turned out into a game of coalitions. And I'm here as Evil Empire, going this green here. Something happens and things go like that. In this game, in the beginning, I had very good sound strategy in the beginning. I started with an idea that, okay, I'm next to Crystalline, I'm next to Lizard. The Lizard is closer, the Lizard seems to be like a rather good player. Well, I wanted to ally the Lizard player to stay alive. And also, my A plan for this game was, of course, that I will support the Lizards who will win combats and go steamrolling. But I have strategy B. That was that this game was fixed turn 175. And the strategy was that if this game was to end by that, I would have most planets, and I will achieve that by creating a diplomatic quagmire.
What's a quagmire?
Quagmire is what the United States used a lot, the media, when they got stuck in Middle East. It's kind of a swamp where you can't move. The idea was that because the whole map was full of very high quality players, it's easy to get a stalemate situation. So the idea was to support a stalemate situation, so I could win with most planets.
Ingenious.
That was my plan, and as you can see, here is in the middle of the game, I've got the highest military, and my plan is working out in graph quite wonderfully. But then something happened and I almost got killed. I survived and I'm happy about that. But what happened was that the thing was that I was extremely busy at the time. And the execution of this strategy started by, of course, locating everybody on the map. Then I decided that, okay, it's the most easiest part is the northwest, where I will support the fascist a bit. But in the southwest part, I would support the robot by giving him SSDs and stuff like that. And the whole thing was he was leading the military, and the point was that people would start attacking him, and
they really did.
Yes. But what I did, I tried to, because I didn't have time, I tried to use the least effort thing. So I didn't do anything I didn't see that was necessary. In the bottom of the map, there were these German, very great players. There was Dick and Frostreese and people like that. And I was thinking that, of course, they will form alliances, but they will also compete with each other. And it didn't even come into my mind that they would form a coalition and they would not compete with each other. And when they did that, and at some point I was thinking, okay, that's just temporary. They will at some point break up and start to compete with each other. They won't be happy for position 3 or position 4 or something like that. But that wasn't true. And I was shocked about that, as I was shocked about anything else. And what happens when everything I believe in the game, here also, I started to make a little moves to break the situation. When one of these people I have been supporting got very angry to me. We had very big discussions in the discussion board. Tuukka also had some very strong emotions at the moment. And I was shocked for many reasons, and I kind of was crushed mentally. And what happened, I think, here was so-called cosmology episode. Cosmology episode. Yes. And what it's about is, it's a term in actually organizational psychology, coined by Carl Weick. In short, it means that as we play planets, we have created during the years some sort of picture in our mind, how this game works, how we play it, why we play it, how the other people play, how stuff work. And then we hit reality. And this picture, what we have in mind, is shattered. Things doesn't work like we want. Here, Germans didn't behave like I thought they would behave. They also, but the biggest thing was that I was thinking that the way I was doing these diplomatic schemes here, this started playing, this is the way you should be. But when this happened, I clearly saw that people are not sharing the idea that I have about this game, and I'm actually poor. And when you think about cosmology episodes, how it manifests in people, this is kind of a, people are playing a whole different game. They are playing wrong. This is not right. Screw you, screw this game, I'm going home. Something like this happened. I would love to see Tuikku here, because some years ago when I did my rage quit, was that we did a very nasty and naughty thing. Then there was no two-player team games. Me and Tuikku went to a game, joined together, pre-game alliance. And what happened then, there was an excellent Finnish player, Juuso, who formed a coalition against us. And I, of course, thought that was unfair. But the biggest thing was that we had a very tough situation when I was trying to lightning attack, and there was a towing situation. And I had gone through all towing mechanic stuff, and I was certain that now I'm towing his Corby, and I'm going to destroy it. And after the turn went on, and I noticed my fleet getting whacked. And what happened there was this, everything in the game was going wrong. Nothing worked like I thought it should work. The people were behaving wrong. The game mechanics were going wrong. And I was starting to doubt myself. Am I doing wrong? I thought this is all okay. So now when we talk about, okay, now I went too much far away. Here happened a bit same, and what happened was also that when we had this discussion, some people discussed about quitting planets because of this. And now I'm going to show something that has Tuukka in it. Great cosmology episode. How is it connected to diplomacy? Diplomacy, I think of it as concept, the free use of communication to create relations to other players, position yourself among them, persuade and manipulate, and co-create meaning of the game. With diplomacy, you are playing, but also creating actual relations to actual people and connecting to their narrative. And now I'm using the concept of narrative. There's all kinds of concepts, there's discourses and everything like that. That just means the concept of understanding the life that has been built by our life history and events and understanding and stuff like that. And here's some experts of narratives. These are based on discussions between me and Tuukka. Here is me, here is Tuukka. My background, we are both strategy game players, But I like to play strategy games that have scheming and backstabbing in them. You know, they are only one winner, everybody else are losers. That's the point of view. He, on the other hand, has played a lot of cooperation games. The kind of brother games, the kind of games that it's us or nothing. All is lost. How to play? I kind of like the cloak and dagger thing, you know, a Game of Thrones. And he likes maximize fleet, crush opponents. It's a
Yes,
yes,
that's true.
that's a pretty
Crush your
different
opponents.
view of about how to play the game and what's the point. And cooperative idea. Tuukka has fight together until the end. I have support as long as useful, exploit. And here is the thing that I accept deception. Tuukka accepts trust. And if two players like this are cooperating together, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And here are some claims I came up. We are a diverse global bunch. There's infinite amount of views of this game. I was really, it would be, when we think about different kinds of personality types there are amongst us as planet players. There's a lot of those, in some discussions mentioned, like paladins. The kind of people, you got to be honest, you got to be always talking the truth, you got to be always honoring everything you ever did with. That kind of people are like waiting to be hurt by people who think strategically, you know? Then, when your own narrative is grasped by other players' actions, you might very well experience a cosmology episode. It could happen to any of you, you know. Many of you have been played for years. You think you know how this happens, but then something happens that doesn't fit into your idea of the game at all. And it just crushes it. It can happen to any one of you. This has been used a lot in, for example, disaster studies about how firemen have been killed in forest fires or how air crashes has happened and something like that. In some situations, the people have totally lost meaning of the world and started to behave really insanely because nothing makes sense. But yeah, conflicting narratives cause conflicts, hostilities, and good players to quit playing planets, even on the highest levels. I think we have all sieves. And this is something I was thinking, that strategy games in general aim to surprise and crush your opponent by creating new tactics, strategies, and trying to bend the rules. That's also one of the whole idea in all strategy games. You try to figure out the rules and then how to use them, exploit them, so you can destroy your enemies. So the byproduct of this, that you want to cause cosmology episodes to your opponents. So people spend awfully lot of time and effort to figure out how this works, only to realize that it doesn't. And then they result in shock. Something like, I'm using countless times of amount to make a document of glory device, and then boom, there comes this new PP system, and it doesn't work. Stuff like that, you know. And then, if you think about what then, in stuff like this, of course, what we all do, what Tuukka does, we should aim to how we should be playing. We have the normative claims, how we should be playing. So, as we are all playing a different game, due to the different backgrounds, you know, we've got the role players here, we got the team players here, we got the strategic gamers, we've got people who build fleets. But communication here is limitless. It's very hard to keep it just in game, you know. When we talk with other people, it's very hard to just keep it there. We can do anything with communication. And the thing is that we will, like Tuukka mentioned, you will get hurt when playing something where you are very enthusiastically about something and you do something enthusiastically, and when you fail in it, you get hurt. And the thing is that I claim that there are some views in our community that this is just a game. You shouldn't take this so seriously. But I think that if you are not considerate to your opponents, you are evil. I mean, actual ethical evil. Because what you are doing is you are hurting real people by being not considerate. So,
what's your definition of considerate?
I'll
Okay.
let you. Yeah. For example, I'm looking. This is something what I think about everything. This. I just started a new game, and because of the last game in Die Hard 16, it was a shock that some people. It was a surprise for them that how I behave in games. So now my greeting message to the new game was that I'm looking forward to cooperation and trade as long as it's beneficial for my victory. I hope a game with this high difficulty modifier will turn out to be a real Game of Thrones. Happy gaming, everybody, and may the dagger in your back be sharp. I think after that, people will have this would be the right keynote speech.
How would you categorize the responses you got today?
Lol. No, but it's been very funny so far. They've been very understanding people. What I think, because I don't like to deceive with communication actually at all, because for me it's very hard to try to pinpoint where the game ends and where the thing outside the game starts. So it would be silly to outright lie to people when writing to them. When, well, you can do something, but I wouldn't. And also because of that, I've got very strict honor policies. But about the moralistic endnotes here, this is something I made this whole presentation, and as a result, all these ideas came because there's this discourse, this narrative that is in our activity feed about competitive gaming. That what you need to win a game, and for example, the idea that the backstab in the right place makes you win games, and that you need it. And I think that's okay. That's an okay idea, but I think that people who participate in the game should be mentally aware of it beforehand. I think Mentor would not be shocked if I would backstab him in the game after 30 turns of cooperation.
I'd be shocked that I wouldn't have foreseen it, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Yeah. But some other people, like quite many people with us, and this is something that I wanted to say in the earlier discussion already, but when you have to kill a man, it costs nothing to be polite. This is something that's extremely important to everybody in us. And so this was my presentation.
Great.
That was very great.
Okay, great.
May I respond?
The words of people you were killing.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There needs to be a response to this because
Let's turn the camera to the audience. Clearly, we need that.
there needs to be a response to this. I have something to say because this is a very good analysis of the meta game. We're all talking about that, and I've been talking to people recently about the deep game, which is beyond that. The deep game, yes, because this game is not about us. This game is about Joshua. Oh. I have been thinking about this for a long time. The game has been static, and then Joshua came and developed this, and we all think that he's doing it because he loves the game. He doesn't. No. He has a purpose. I was thinking about what he does, the changes he does, the new build queue, the new Horwasp abilities, all these things. I thought he was balancing the game. I was thinking, like you, about the meta game. But Joshua's game is a deep game. I thought he was testing himself. I thought he wanted to be a better player. He wanted to find the best among us and play against us. But he is not testing himself. He is testing us. Think about it. How am I going to say this? If you consider how the Horwasps were introduced, and if you connect that to the Rage Quits and the cosmology episodes, it all comes together in a flash, and you will never be able to unsee what you're about to see. I hope. Oh yes. In the beginning, there were rumors. There was a new race, and we knew nothing about it. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Exactly, 2 years ago.
The
Like
Horwasp 1 Alpha.
Robin's home.
Yes. People started playing against the Horwasp, and we didn't know anything. And there were race quits. There have always been race quits, I think. But people have started disappearing one by one, and that is a very important one by one. Then we knew a bit more about the Horwasp, and the abilities of the Horwasp started getting more defined. The production queue is starting to get more realistic, if you will, as if it might happen somewhere. And commanders, not the best commanders, but commanders of a certain playing style, start disappearing from the site. And the moment you see this, you will continue to see this. I am telling you, somewhere out there, or there, we are being invaded, and I don't know what I think about this Joshua. But if you get an invitation to get to Canada, don't accept it. That is what I have to say.
Really opened my eyes.
Okay.
One more
small
announcement. Camera is still over there. Yeah. Since my presentation, I actually put the first version of the clone border online. It's hooked into. There is a little bit that if you actually type in a new friendly code, it refreshes it on the spot, which was kind of nasty and ugly. So I'm happy I did that privately. But the first version that only checks if you are, say, clone and checks the whole tag level is online, and you can download it and it works. Thank you.
Okay. I think I'm ready to continue with the Emark's episode.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bloody commanders are willing to fight.
All the
Yep.
Well, wait a minute. 2 minutes. I'm just here.
2 minutes. Okay, I'll cut the old stream and start the new broadcast.
Everyone fly.
We start pretty much immediately.
It's